DEI light.
We just can't call it that. You have to be creative.
Radical anti-American diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives are out of control. They're in the woke military. They're in K-12 education, but there is nowhere they are more present than higher education. In response, states like Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, and Utah have banned DEI from higher education. Unlike our investigations into K-12 education, we were delighted to find that some administrators told us they were complying with the law.
I used to provide resources for faculty and student orgs and go out and do diversity training and teaching and that sort of thing.
There's none of that anymore?
We cannot do that. We cannot do any of that anymore.
Y'all are still gonna continue the work, just do it under advocacy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just,
okay.
Yeah, trying to continue the work without having to be in any violation of the Texas law.
DEI, diversity and inclusion. That whole area was dissolved.
Unfortunately, they were in the minority.
We're not allowed to say DEI anymore.
Yeah, it's silly, but
A new law that just started.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think they're calling it, I forget what the stupid title is now. Yeah. But yeah, it pretty much is, yeah. So it's to represent all of the DEI work that we do on this campus. They just rebranded. So.
Right.
So we're still doing the same work, we just can't call it that.
Highly paid administrators at a half dozen Texas universities bragged to us about how they ignore the law, break the law, circumvent the law.
There's really no ways of doing the DEI work through...
You can still do it, you just have to be creative.
So basically y'all still do the DEI work, you have all the same DEI people, they're just called something else.
I'm not supposed to say that, so...
I know, but I don't understand.
From my understanding, the DEI office division is being dissolved, and so
really?
So what is happening is that they're either repurposing, not repurposing, but rather reclassifying some of that work.
They're gonna keep a lot of the programs, just not call it diversity, equity, inclusion.
Gotta
How
skirt
dumb.
the lines a little.
Okay, so it's still the DEI work, basically, just divvied up differently.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's a
based off the bill.
lens, and it's a different take on it. I would say it's DEI light, very light.
We're just going to call it different things, just like every university is going to do. Financially, you can't let all of that go.
The DEI work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that you gained from that. And
Right.
can show that we have gained.
So, loopholes in this new law. Okay. Well, I'm glad that y'all are smart enough to do that, because just because they say this or that, they're going to keep coming for whatever you rename it to, unfortunately. So how are you going to carry on?
We carry on. We do the work. I plot and plan.
How many times have you had to rename the office? Jesus Christ.
Officially, twice unofficially.
Each campus we visited used different terms to circumnavigate the law in their own unique way. At the University of North Texas at Dallas, the word they used in place of DEI was belonging.
And so basically the DEI work is still being done, but under belonging.
Yeah. So, and then also with that, so because we're not as a big institution, when I came in last summer, we also had a D&I task force.
Okay.
And so the work was, so even though it wasn't housed by or owned by a particular office or area, it was mostly a task force that was made up of faculty and staff as well. So those conversations were being had, obviously with the legislature happening, and they kind of took a pause. And so the task force, similar to what happens with our office, it's transitioning. So instead of being a D&I task force, even though ours is student belonging, we have the sense of belonging task force now.
At Tarleton State University, DEI officers used the First Generation Initiative as their Trojan horse.
So are y'all not able to do any more training for staff that's...
So we are, and that's
Okay.
This is what I'm excited about. So what I wanted to do with First Gen Initiatives is work with professors. We could do training through that as well with First Gen Initiatives.
Got it.
And so it's already something that's been being worked on in the first place. It's just we ran it from another lens. First Gen students actually are the most intersectional group. No, because what does a First Gen student look like? You can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
Any country, right? And so it covers so many diverse backgrounds. First Gen is really DEI all wrapped in one.
At Texas Tech, the DEI work was housed under campus access and engagement.
Campus access and engagement has really been getting like a lot of it, a lot of attention lately, just because it's kind of like it's our new
department.
It's the new department housing a lot of the things that were under DEI.
Is most of the DEI work still continuing just under
campus access and engagement, pretty much.
Here's our life transitions closet.
And at the University of Texas at Dallas, we learned how a quote transition closet was able to avoid the state's scrutiny.
I love that there's like a mask and femme section.
Yes.
Section 2.
So the whole thing is also like
can be very
no
inclusive.
gender.
Love that.
Right. So like we do mask and femme sizing. Luckily this gets to stay, but because trying to make it seem like, oh, it's not just for people in transition, like gender transition, like pregnant and parenting, like my pants don't fit because I just had a baby.
Fair,
things like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if any of these efforts don't work, staffers can still sneak DEI onto campus through student groups.
We can guide them, we can advise them.
Okay.
And we could put our name on there, but if it was solely our office, then
that's a problem.
Yeah, we had to pass down our lavender graduation ceremony to one of our LGBTQ organizations, because then the center itself can't operate it.
Okay. Well, that's good that it's still happening, but yeah. So I guess y'all are probably working with student orgs.
A lot.
Yeah.
All of these officers, I think, will still be a part of supporting students, staff, and faculty.
Okay.
But I think everyone's just trying to figure out what exactly it looks like.
Yeah.
Because we all know, I mean,
Not surprised.
it's a necessity. Like DEI work is like
right.
DEI does not promote diversity, equity, or inclusion. It divides us rather than bringing us together, particularly in K through 12 education. And that begs the question, if DEI is inappropriate for higher education, why is it in kindergarten? Use the action alert right now to tell your elected officials to take action against DEI initiatives in your state, both in K through 12 education and in higher education. Tell them to hold these lying administrators accountable for breaking the law. Again, I'm Adam Gillette, Accuracy in Media.